Who said midweek games don't matter when you're going live at 10:25 Central Standard Time on a Wednesday? Because here we are, another post-game edition, another post-game show of AYS for LSU baseball. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is AYS. We hope all of you are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. This might be the shortest post-game show in history. This is show 3 for me on the day. So I am a little exhausted, but what was not exhausted was LSU at the plate, specifically our good man Brady Neal, who called tonight for the Fighting Tigers, absolutely destroying baseballs in Houston with 2 big home runs, getting his second, third of the night. Had some big-time at-bats, had some big-time hits. I think that second one went 421 feet, 103 miles an hour off the bat. But look, I mean, I know you don't want to make a lot of what happens early in the season baseball-wise. I know that you don't want to make a lot of a midweek game, but Rice is coming off of a weekend series against ULL where they took 2 of 3 from them. Guys, this is not a bad mid-major program. This is not a program that, they don't have the history that they once did, but they do have a lot of good players, a lot of good guys, and it's a pretty solid midweek game. I think for me, with this team, look, you come into the second inning, you get 2 walks, 1 from Pearson, 1 from Neal. You get the Jones RBI single, which, look, I mean, the wind was howling. Typically, that's going to be an out, but it wasn't, okay? I mean, we've seen situations like this before, and don't tell me that big-time programs don't make these type of blunders. Stanford beat A&M last year on a walk-off similar to that first run that you scored on the technical RBI single by Jones, who later got in a pickle. I'm assuming he missed some signs there, but you get a hit by pitch with Bingham, a walk by Braswell, and then Kling Kong comes up and gets a line drive single in the left field and scores 2 runs. I thought that you can – well, let's just start here at the plate. You come back in the top of the third. Bingham gets a line drive single. Braswell walks. Kling gets hit by a pitch. Okay. Actually, let's go to the top of the third. This all comes with 2 outs, I might add, when you really started adding on here. So you got 2 outs. White flies out to right. Pearson flies out to third. But Travinsky gets hit by a pitch. Neal hits a 2-run blast, his first of the night. Jones walks, single from Bingham. Braswell walks. Kling, bases loaded, gets an RBI off the hit by pitch. Milam singles into left field with an RBI, and then Tommy White with bases loaded finally comes through for you, getting a 2 RBI single. So the Tigers bat around there. It would continue to be an onslaught. You would get another home run from Brady Neal later into the game. I'm pretty sure that coming in the top of the 7th. But you went to the plate, you demolished the baseball, and quite honestly, guys, you choked out a team that, you needed to. And look, I love that you go into a game like this where you're focused, you're locked in, you're determined on a Wednesday. It's a really good performance in a midweek. So I love that Jay gets to, not use a lot of big guys out of the pen. You don't have to fight a game in a midweek. This isn't like, oh, man, LSU goes into a midweek. They're struggling. And I got to be honest, man, I'm not saying I worried about this game at all. It's not even close to that. But I did wonder going into this one, like, hey, man, your first road game, you're on the road, starting a freshman, things could get chaotic on you and start snowballing in a hurry. But it never did. And you never allowed it to. So just another really good performance. And Jay Johnson pushing all the right buttons after last Saturday's performance and what you're doing at the plate. Guys, that's back-to-back games for the first time. Let's say it like this, too. Let me take a sip of the water. Didn't realize how thirsty I was. It's the first time this season for LSU baseball that they have had back-to-back games where they've been consistent at the plate. Look, you're talking about Sunday against Stony Brook. You come out locked in and demolish the baseball. You come into tonight scoring 16 runs. Now, you got a little help from Rice, and they had a couple of errors, but so did you, which we'll talk about later. But you go out there in back-to-back performances the first time this season and dominated the plate. What you could be seeing and what this team can do and how talented this team can be, you go into a weekend where you got Texas, you got ULL, you got Texas State, so some pretty good baseball, but this is the way that you want to start off a 4-game week series. You start it on Wednesday, you end it on Sunday, so it's a good way to start it off by getting a win. No bigger performance, though, and we'll talk about Brady Neal specifically here in a moment. Cade Anderson, the freshman, man, I tweeted this out. I think Cade Anderson is a young Tom Glavine that throws a little bit harder. I mean, go back and watch Tom Glavine and the motion that he had when he was with the Braves and what he looked like and his rhythm on the mound. Tell me that doesn't look like Cade Anderson. I was watching a YouTube of Tom Glavine during the game after you scored your 16th run. I'm like, man, they look so similar. But Cade Anderson has got to be probably the first story that we talk about here tonight. By the way, every postgame show is brought to you by our good friends over at betonline.ag. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so already, use your mobile device to sign up. Use the promo code BELIEVE50. March Madness is around the corner. So many sporting events, the draft. Where do you think Jane Daniels is going to go? You can use that promo code BELIEVE50. That's BELIEVE50 at checkout. That way that they know your good friend Blake sent you on by. Let's start off, and I don't want to say it's the biggest story, but it's got to be up there with Brady Neal's performance. I think Cade Anderson had one hell of a game. And you could look at the bottom of the third when things got a little erratic, none of it really being on him. He should have been out of that inning, but he comes into the bottom of the first, 1, 2, 3. He gets an infield single that he tries to make a play on himself, and the ball's a little late getting to Jared Jones. But 3 pitches later, he gets a 4-6-3 double play. The Mandeville native comes into the bottom of the second. He gets 2 Ks. The first 2 Ks of the game, bam, bam, right out of the gate. He gives up a walk, but then gets a strikeout to end the inning against West from Rice. The bottom of the third was a little bit shaky. You know, he got a little dribbler back to himself that he got to Jones for the first out. He gave up a line drive single. He hit a batter. And then you get the error by Josh Pearson where the line drive into right field hits off his glove, but he's able to pick it up and throw it to second to get the force out there. So you got 2 outs. And then he gets an error by Milam on a little catch there. Probably should have ate it and not thrown it to Jones. A run would score on that play. He gives up a single, okay, which then gets another RBI, but he gets out of the inning. So the good thing about that, look, you had 2 back-to-back plays that did not bode well for you, but he didn't panic. A couple of runs came through. 3 runs in the inning were scored. But he comes back, he gets a massive strikeout, and that's what you need from your midweek guy. Look, man, if he's going to give up some runs, we're probably going to dominate a lot of these teams. At least we know that Cade Anderson's going to get you where you need to go there. He comes back in the bottom of the fourth. He gets 2 strikeouts to start the inning. His 5th and 6th strikeout, and then it gets a fly out to end it. He would end in the bottom of the 5th, his last inning. Gets a fly out, another strikeout. He had 7 on the day, and then it gets a fly out and into right field. I mean, guys, he was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal, which honestly begs the question, how good is this pitching staff for LSU? I mean, with what I would expect would be maybe Gage jump on Friday against Texas. I mean, we'll see what Jay Johnson does there. But with Cade Anderson, Gage jump, Luke Holman, and Thatcher Hurd being your guys, your 4 big arms that you want to start here. Oh, by the way, Javen Coleman has not had a bad start to the season. Guys, I got to start asking the question. I know that we're in February, and the next game that the Tigers will play will be the start of March, and when baseball really starts heating up here, just how good can this staff be? Can it be one of the best staffs that we've had here? Can it be one of the best overall units that we've ever had here? I think it could be, man. Like, they have that potential. Now, they're going to hit some bumps in the road. There's going to be some rocky things that happen along this journey. But, man, you're going to have to convince me that in a 3-game series with all the arms that you have here, that you're going to – unless multiple guys are off multiple days in a row, it's going to be tough to get runs on this team. So the question becomes, like, look, when you have those days, can the guys at the plate pick you up? I think the recipe that Jay Johnson has here and the way that he has formed this team, if they continue to get better, which is what they've done since game one, I thought they've gotten better in so many different areas so far in this early part of the year. The sky is the limit. And I'm not going to overreact to a midweek game versus Rice, even though they're coming off a series win versus ULL. But, man, they just keep performing and keep throwing arms out there. The one thing that I don't think that we ever talk about enough with Jay Johnson is the development of players, the development of guys. Guys, I know this is going to be irrelevant to some of you, and you probably won't care. Did you see Luke Holman? Luke Holman. Did you see Will Helmers at the end of the game? Guys, last year and the last couple of years, Will Helmers had massive issues throwing strikes. Tonight, he comes out and closes out a game for you, and he's picking them up, putting them down, which begs another question. Like, hey, man, he didn't look bad in his last performance. He didn't look bad again here tonight. Is that the worst guy in your bullpen? Because if that's the worst guy in your bullpen after what we've seen the last couple of performances for Helmers, good gracious, great balls of fire, man. Like, good gracious as bodacious. So, overall solid performance. Let me talk about Brady Neal for just a moment, and we'll get to all your questions, thoughts, concerns. We're not going to stay too long. We might be here 30, 45 minutes, not a long post game. It is really late on a Wednesday, and I know a lot of you have to go to work. Brady Neal, man, continues to impress me. You know, I told you guys this, and I probably shouldn't, but here we are. Earlier in the year when Brady Neal was in the lineup card for Jay Johnson and was batting cleanup, I texted a good buddy of mine and was just like, look, man, who am I? Why am I even questioning Jay Johnson? I'm an idiot. I was really intrigued by seeing Brady Neal being so high up in the lineup. Well, he's had some tough at-bats here, but, guys, he's absolutely destroying the baseball right now. I mean, that's multiple times where he is just – I'm just talking about for the small stature guy that he is, has demolished baseballs. The one tonight, one of the home runs that he hit was 431 feet, 103 miles an hour off the bat. Just absolutely destroying it, which, again, look, man, what you're doing at that position, at catcher, I mean, sky is the limit for you there on what you're doing. I mean, Milazzo comes in late, giving Brady Neal a little bit of a rest. You got Hayden Travinski DHing, and you can also be back there as well. Tavinsky, I should say. That's what the announcer from Rice kept calling him, Tavinsky. I mean, like, how do you not see the R? Travinsky. But Brady Neal with a massive night, getting those 2 big home runs. Hopefully you stay hot, man. Hopefully this builds some confidence for you. Hopefully this builds where you want to go and what you want to do for this season. You got a long way to go, man. You got a long way to go. But you start against a really good Texas club who has got a bona fide Friday night dude. They did not allow a run last. Think about this. again, I'll say this again. Texas did not allow a run in 27 innings last weekend. Not one. Guys, that's hard to do against your Meemaw's bridge team. Right? Like, I mean, you could put a whole bunch of older ladies that play bridge out there and you might give up a run. That's 2 bottles. We're putting the water down, man. Bourbon Blake during the week is no longer. I can't be drinking bourbon during the week. We got a couple of super chats in here, so let's get to them. Cutter Berard on YouTube with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Cutter, for sending us that. He says, love the way that this team is shaping out. Great teams win their midweek games the way this team just did. Kane Anderson is our next great pitcher. I agree with you. I mean, look, man, great teams put inferior opponents away. That's what I think is missed. Okay, if you lose one, it is what it is. Last year's team lost one to ULL. If it happens, it happens. But, you know, like you had I mean, y'all remember last year when you had the tough game against Tulane in New Orleans, but then you go to like Southeastern and you smack that ass, which they're still mad at me. People at Southeastern are still mad at me for whatever reason, those freaking Rudy Poos. But Cutter's right, man. Great teams demolish teams like this. And maybe it did take you going on the road to get a little focused and lock in here. Maybe that is the situation. But I will tell you, man, it never ceases to amaze me when teams go on the road and they look better, you know, like especially in baseball. Especially in this sport, because I think multiple things have to happen. Number one, you got to lock in. Okay, you can't be. I mean, like at home, man, you're relaxed. You're sleeping in your own bed. When you go on that road, especially in this sport, it changes, dudes. Either one or two things are going to happen. Either you're not going to be locked in and not focused, and you're just going to be lollygagging around. That tells you a lot about your team. Guys, going out there and scoring 16 runs, I'm telling you now, that's a good team. Like that is not a bad team you just played. Like, I don't know if you're not at the end of the year and saying if Rice isn't making a push to get into the tournament. So you can say what you want, but that team might be there at the end. The only thing that I ask on these midweek games, regardless of where they're played, can we get the run rule? I know Jay's going to probably kill me or anybody for saying that because he wants guys to play and get reps. But come on, man. I mean, if you're demolishing a team like that might make a postseason run, or not run, but the postseason, give us the mercy rule. Even if it's at their house, screw you. Kelly, DK says, we won't have the dominance of Skeens, but, man, it's been a while since we've had this many quality arms. Yeah, again, and thank you, DK, for the super chat. You guys always, when y'all send it, man, it does mean the world to me because, I mean, look, man, it helps me live this dream. So every time y'all send them, man, it's absolutely fantastic. Thank y'all so much. To DK's point, you can't replace a generational talent, and you can't replace two generational talents. Especially with Cruz, who's just doing Cruz-like things in spring training. Paul Skeens hit 103 today in a bullpen. I don't know if y'all saw that, 102, 103. You can't. But this team did not have this complete staff last year. But it's tough to say, too, because you have one of your big arms that got hurt in the beginning of the year, and then you have Ty Floyd, who's a first-round pick. Like, I mean, you've gotten multiple. I mean, last year you could have been there. You could have been there, but you just had some injuries. You know, what would Chase Shores have been if he would have continued and gotten experience? But you're right. I mean, DK, from top to bottom, I mean, like, guys, we're getting. I know that the second outing wasn't necessarily great for Christian Little, but of the three or four appearances that he's had and the times that we've seen him, even he hasn't looked that bad. So, again, I agree with you. I mean, you just got that many really good arms down there. And I think you have 4, maybe 5 quality guys that you can start at any given moment. Okay, rotation in the weekend or not, that can go for you and give you some really solid innings. Like I think you see Gage jump on Friday. I think you see Holman on Saturday, and I think Hurd is going to be on Sunday. That's what I do. That's 1,000% what I do. And go from there. And I just don't know if a lot of, and I watch a lot of college baseball. You can ask anybody that knows me well enough. Guys, if I'm not, like, if I have quote unquote downtime, I am watching college baseball. I am not a big college basketball guy in the regular season. I'll catch the highlights, whatever. Just not my jam. Not anymore anyway. I'll watch like a Auburn, Tennessee tonight or whatever and keep it on like another screen. But it is what it is. It is what it is. John Sibley Butler with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, John. Really, really, really appreciate that. He says, thanks for the late night. Which team in the SEC we will really challenge the Tigers? Thank you, John. That means the world to me, buddy. Look, I still think Florida is a really tough team. I don't care that they lost to Stetson in the midweek. A&M is going to be really good. Well, A&M is really good. They look, Schlossnagle, even when he was at TCU, had a lot of good squads. He's got another one here. Chase Lavalette and Braden Montgomery are killing it right now. So the bubble-fearing, assless chaps wearing Texas A&M Aggies, they're pretty good. Very weird. Georgia's, you know what team I'm not as afraid of as I was in the beginning of the year? It's Vandy. I am not as afraid of Vandy as I was in the beginning of the year. I think that they are easily beatable. Easily beatable. Now, this is baseball, and watch you lose 2 out of the 3 against them, or 2 or 3 against them if you had that opportunity, or if you have. I don't even know if I'd have to check. I don't even know if we play them in a series this year. I feel like we do. I feel like we do play them in a series. Where's Paul Sub when you need him? By the way, I need to call Paul Sub. I don't know if you play them in a weekend series. Arkansas. Oh, yeah, you do at home. Vandy, April 4th, 5th, and 6th. You got Vandy at home. Arkansas, that one's going to be tough because you got to go to Baum-Walker, and that's not going to be easy for you. The thing with Arkansas, though, if you think that LSU was struggling, man, it's tough because it's early, so I want to be careful on what I say. If you think if LSU was struggling early at the plate this year, you should see Arkansas. They really have been struggling, but their staff is ridiculously good. Look, you got Florida, Arkansas, Vandy, Tennessee, at Lindsey Nelson. They're not bad either. Then you got to go to Missouri. Ugh, that's gross. Got A&M at home. Alabama hadn't actually been that bad either. That TJ McCants, who was at Ole Miss last year, has been doing some really good things with this year. Look, it's not going to be easy. I mean, not going to be easy at all. Yeah, we host them at home in April. That's right. John Sibley Butler says Friday night will tell us a lot. The Longhorns have excellent pitching and is carrying the grudge of missed ball in the lights against Stanford. Oh, it was Texas last year that happened to? Damn, I thought it was A&M. Maybe it was Texas. Tyler says it was Rice's fault, I heard. On what? And Paul's Hub says the cameraman in left field was fighting for his life tonight. Yeah, he was. I mean, man, when it's that bad, dude, I want to like throw up. Like, brother, brother, Oh, talking about the 10-run rule. Yeah, God bless it. Come on. Max says I'd start Holman, Hurd, and Jump with Cade as midweek starter. I don't know if they're not going to go Jump Friday night. I really don't. I mean, I just don't think you can throw Hurd on Friday. But again, I say that, watch him go out there and dominate. But look, Thatcher Hurd started against them last year and looked good. I don't know. I how much revenge are they going to want to get on him? I don't, you threw Jump on a Thursday. Are you going to throw Jump on a Thursday and then wait to throw him again on a Sunday? I don't know that. I really, really, really don't know that. Both got blinded by lights. Texas's mishap happened in a bigger moment. That's true. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. Cole Adams says Arkansas needs to win at something. Isn't a good year in Hoggy Land. It's not, man. It's not. Like we talked about today on the SEC show, which if y'all have not gone check it out, go check it out. We're doing our Around Your SEC morning shows on Monday and Wednesday. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they were really bad at football. They were 4-8 this year. Basketball has been underwhelming. I feel bad for them, man. They're yearning for a winner, and they're not going to get one because I don't think Van Horn could win. I just don't. I think Dave Van Horn is our this generation's Mike Martin. Dave Van Horn might be this generation's Mike Martin, and it sucks. I think you can win baseball-wise at Arkansas. I mean, the 1-2 punch that they have on Friday night, at least what they've shown the first two Friday nights, has been Hagen Smith and McIntyre, the big righty coming out of the pen. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, we have solid pitching. We don't have anything in a 1-2 punch like that. Not even close. That's 3. I'm going to be waking up in the middle of the night having to take a piss. Brandon Reeves says for as much as SEC football is always tough, SEC baseball is a close second, especially when Texas joins. I don't know if SEC baseball is not tougher. I mean, think about it like this. LSU did not win their division last year, nor did they win the SEC championship, and they still won a natty. I mean, I think SEC baseball is tougher because Vandy, Florida, Arkansas, Tennessee, South Carolina, A&M, Texas, when they join, Arkansas. I mean, the only 3 really true programs that are underperforming are the 2 Mississippi schools in Mizzou. Kentucky, I mean, guys, Kentucky got to a super regional last year against us, against one of Jay Johnson's really good friends who's the head coach there. So, I mean, look, I'm trying to think of anybody else that really just sucks. I mean, maybe Georgia, but Georgia's got Charlie Condon and the boys. I mean, they lost tonight to Michigan State. They just looked awful. But Charlie Condon hit 3 home runs. Was accounted for all 6 of their runs. So, I mean, maybe those 3. or maybe those four are your bottom tier. But even them, they like guys. Any given night, any one of those four teams, maybe not Mizzou, but any one of those four teams, or maybe even Mizzou, could clip you. That's how. Vandy's not going to beat LSU in football. There's no team that you like. You don't have that team, which is very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. John Sibley Butler says Arkansas, hope they stay down. Bless their hearts. Yeah, man, it's tough. Big Pressure's in the building. Good to have you in here, Pressure. Yeah, it's depressing for them. Very, very depressing for them. You got to feel for them, man. It can't be. It's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. So, look, I do need to say this too before we, I know we've been talking a lot of baseball here. I do need to say this. Did y'all see this tonight or today? The college football playoff is looking like it's going to be expanding to 14 teams. So we haven't even played in the 12-team playoff, and we're already trying to move to 14 teams. 4 of them, by the way, are going to be automatic qualifiers for both the Big Ten and the SEC, with 3 going to the ACC and Big 12, and a couple, I think maybe 3 at large. So it'd be 3, 6, 9. No, that wouldn't be. My math is off. Maybe I'm wrong on the number there, but 4 and 4 automatic bids, 3 and 3, and then the 3 at large in a group of 5. None of this makes sense anymore to me. None of it. It's all about money. There are no right decisions anymore in college football. Guys, there's not 12 teams in college football. More or less, there's not 14 teams in college football. When you expand this in 2026, by the way, we haven't even kicked off the first season of a 12-team playoff. We have no idea what this looks like. But guys, I got to tell you, there's not 12 teams. There will never be 12 teams that can compete for a I mean, just none of they're not going to be able to compete to win a national championship in college football. Recruiting is still going to be a thing, and the teams that recruit the best, evaluate the best, I should say, not even recruit the best, but evaluate the best, develop the best, are always there. It's why Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State and LSU, it's why all of them are there. It's why LSU is second in national titles. Why Ohio State constantly gets to the playoff. It's why, honestly, Michigan got there. Forget your star ratings, ho. They evaluated their talent fantastically and developed it. And you're just not going to get 12 teams, much less 14 teams, that can compete for a national title. Guys, let me give you an example. LSU would have been in the playoff this year. Now, maybe LSU would have knocked off like a Penn State or somebody. Maybe. Sure, I'm with you. But they're not going to beat an Alabama team that they play the next week. Guys, it's hard to beat a good team twice, and I understand that. But we were not a good enough team. Penn State wasn't a good enough team. Ole Miss wasn't a good enough team. Missouri was not a good enough team. Those are the other teams in your playoff that would have to go up against Georgia, Florida State, barring the Jordan Travis injury, Washington, Texas, Alabama, Michigan. Those 4 teams were the best 4, 5, 6 teams. And last year was different, but those teams all could have played for a national title with everything right. I still think Jordan Travis getting hurt was the only reason why you left out Florida State, and it is what it is. But there wasn't, like, even 2022, there wasn't 14 teams. In 21, there wasn't 14 teams. Guys, there wasn't really 2 teams. 2020, nobody was beating Bama. 2019, nobody was beating LSU. 2018, nobody was beating Clemson. Like, they all think it's a game. It's all about money for the suits. It's all about money that Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti can push to their conferences. That's all that this is. Their job is to make their conference money, and that's what the expansion does. Makes your conference more money. You know, the reason why I like college football more than the NFL is because it's not the NFL. Guys, you have 32 teams in the NFL, 53-man rosters. It's a completely different game and environment to that end. Now, they play the same game, but you get what I'm saying. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? The NFL can have their own structure on how they do and run things. You don't have to be like them, nor do you have to let bureaucrats in suits that are trying to give you a lot of money dictate what the health of this sport can be. There's no amount of money that can change how the health of this sport is going to go. 14-team playoff. Are you a damn buffoon? Are you a damn buffoon? How can you sit wherever it is that these suits sit and think to yourself that this is a good thing for the sport? It's not. It devalues the regular season. They can say all that they want to that it won't. But it doesn't matter what they tell me, because a game, for example, the game in the SEC that has everybody will watch this game in the SEC over the last 2 decades, last 20 years, has been LSU and Alabama. It loses its luster now, obviously, with Nick leaving, but you get what I mean. That game, even if Nick was here, loses its luster to some extent, because if either one of those teams lose and they get to 10 wins in the regular season, they're going to make a playoff and make a run any damn way. It does not matter. What has made this sport so intense, no, not camping, what has made this sport so intense is that you have to strive for perfection every single week. The intensity is up every single week. You're not going to get that now. I don't care what anybody tells you. They are lying through their freaking teeth if they tell you that it's going to be the same. It is not. That's like your girl telling you she's going out with her girls and they're going to the club, and she's going to dance, but I ain't going to tell you who I'm dancing with. What are you talking about? I know what you're going to do when you go out with the girls and y'all go to a club. You're going to shake your tail feather for dollar bills. Like, what do we, like, guys, come on. This shit is so simple. We have not even kicked off in a 12-team playoff, and they're already expanding, man. What's wrong with these people? You have told me and told me and told me. Some of you have pushed back on me saying this for so long. I've told you since 2020 that we needed a commissioner. I've gotten more hate. I will tell you, I've gotten more hate on we need a commissioner more than Miles Brennan, my Miles Brennan takes, my NIL takes, my Sharon Lewis takes, which my Sharon Lewis takes, man, that gets to the right Democratic Party. Good. I mean, guys, I've gotten serious hate mail, and I'm not political. Like, really, I am not. I don't care. Vote for whoever you want for. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Jaden Daniels. Nothing has been worse for me than that we need a commissioner. Nothing. And now some of you are coming to the limelight saying, yeah, I think, you know what? That loudmouth, bearded son of a gun was probably right. How many times do you think that TV companies are trying to get Roger Goodell to do something? It's like, what was it? The sponsor told Dana White, like he shouldn't be able to have political people at fights, and they need to pull the sponsorship from Bud Light, and he just said, "Go screw yourself." You need a commissioner who can tell somebody, ESPN, to kiss their whole asshole. I'm just being honest, dude. The sport that I love, it's never going to be the same, man. Never going to be the same. In a lot of ways, man, it's depressing. It's depressing. Oh boy. Go Tigers says 4 or 5 SEC teams will make it this year. Well, when they go to a 14 playoff, 4 automatic bids will get in there. Christopher Westbrooks says, who would you make commissioner? I don't know. If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I probably would have told you Greg Sankey. But after the last 3 weeks, I don't trust Greg Sankey enough anymore. I don't trust him right now. I really don't. What he's done in allowing this shit with Tennessee in the NCAA, he knew what was going to happen. He was probably playing puppet master behind the scenes, and he thought that shit was cute. Shit ain't cute. He's hurting the sport. Every time that he pushes for expansion, every time that he pushes for realignment, every time that I would love to hear what he's got to say about the 14-team playoff. There's no excuse. He's dying on a hill when he says, yeah, 14-team playoff gets our conferences and our teams in our conference more money. Eat a whole bag of you-know-what. That is a stone-cold lie. You want it for yourself. Just admit it. Like, I wish for once somebody in college sports would just admit, look, it's something that I want. It's my job to make schools more money. And you know what? I respect him for it. Hey, guys, all Greg Sankey's job is, the only job that Greg Sankey has is the sustainability of the conference. That's it. That is his only job. What is everybody in here tell me what Greg Sankey's ultimate job is? It is to make everybody more money. That is it. He's doing a really damn good job of it. A swell job. But that's all that he's going to do. He's not looking at what's best for the sport. And quite honestly, I don't know how much of it he cares. Like, I don't think he cares about the health of the sport. I really, really don't. I mean, he sees dollar signs and it hits him in the face like a porn video. Massive pause. Like his name's Puff Daddy. It does not, man, it doesn't make sense. Maybe my Puff Daddy reference was too much. God, you want to talk about wild? Ooh, I don't know if y'all been down that rabbit hole. Speaking of going down rabbit holes, I'm sure Diddy's been down a couple of them. Dwayne D says, way too much drama in sports now. Sports has always been my release, both playing and watching. I've backed away from watching most sports. College football, you're on the clock. Sad, man. It's sad. Really sad. Marvelous. Man, Diddy down the rabbit hole is nasty work. It is nasty work. He did it. I mean, he's the one in open court admitting that he's having relations. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. He's out there saying, I had sexual relations with this man, and this man. I mean, that's him. That's on him. Ain't on me. Couldn't be me. Man, Ain't no way, dog. Ain't no way. These celebrities, man, they worse than us. We look at them and we say to ourselves, man, that's a ditty, man. This guy's got everything. But I'll tell you now, if Tom Brady can be cheated on, so can you. These women ain't loyal. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.